Hi everyone, Uliana Boychuk for Ukrainian breaking news from DC, and here with me Congressman Ritter. Congressman Ritter, thank you so much for being with us today. Can you please share a bit more your involving in advocate to Ukraine on the Congress?
So I was involved in the very beginning in the U.S. Congress in starting the Baltic States Ukraine caucus at the time. It's since switched into two different ones, but that was unique back in the mid-1980s when most people thought that Ukraine was a statelet of Russia, and they thought that Ukrainians and Russians were the same. And it goes way back then, and I've been an advocate on behalf of a sovereign, independent, free Ukraine forever, really, for my whole life, whole professional life. And the idea of Putin creating history through Russian disinformation, parroted by Americans who believe he may be a savior of Christianity, family values, anti-woke, anti-gay marriage, what have you. The fact is that he's a war criminal of the first order. He's bathed in the blood of his own people and now the Ukrainian people since 2014. And so this criminality cannot go unresponded to because of Russian disinformation. It's so powerful. You see people in the Congress parroting this idea of NATO encroachment. It's such baloney. It's ridiculous. He never bothered about NATO encroachment. He was never concerned. He is concerned about a free nation living next door to his autocracy becoming more totalitarian by the day. And anyway, but the Remembrance Society, which I formed, is a new group, but it's very strong because the people who are involved are the strongest. We understand, perhaps as well as anyone, the legacy of communism in Russia that translates into the behavior of Russia and Putin today. And that is the complete and utter immorality of what Soviet communism was, the criminality of it all. It didn't matter, human beings didn't matter. They were, to be used on behalf of the state like cogs in a machine. And the brutality, the violence, all of that has been inherited by today's Russia and Putin. And they didn't lose World War II. They won the war, and therefore, not unlike Germany, they weren't conquered and had to shift gears 180 degrees. No, they persevered in the legacy of communism, and that is such a problem today.
And when we were talking about that war criminal that Putin are doing, and on behalf of his good connection and good talks with President Trump, as President Trump always talking about, he has good connection with Putin. So, on your opinion, what do you think it can be?
Well, Trump is Trump. He is a unique person on the planet, and he thinks uniquely, as you can see from all these tariff impositions and what have you. He believes he can make a deal. And if the negotiating partner on the other side is to be friendly in any way, shape, or form, you can't criticize him. You can't negate him. You can't criticize his every actions. And he wouldn't have a negotiating partner if he was speaking the truth about Putin. So that's his aim, to get him to the table. And then people like myself, we're hoping that there will be some pressure at some point on the Russians. There's been no pressure on Putin yet. But this is the Trump way, and it could fail. If it fails, you will see an outpouring of support for Ukraine. I mean, the American people support Ukraine in all the polls, in a majority. And frankly, in Congress, the Republicans in Congress are muted now because their president, they'll stick with their president. The Democrats don't have to, so they're out there, out front. But the Republicans feel the same as the way the Democrats do. And if you heard Steny Hoyer's remarks yesterday, former Helsinki Commission, Congressional Helsinki Commission chairman and ranking member, and my colleague for 14 years, his argument was unimpeachable. I mean, it was accurate, true, and hopefully the Republicans will come around as Putin denies a real ceasefire, as Putin denies a path to peace. I think even the Trump administration will have to come around. The people in the Trump administration, Marco Rubio, I know him, Mike Waltz, I know him very well. I know how they feel. They know exactly what I know. Mm-hmm. They feel exactly as I feel. But they're trying to make this deal.
Also, a couple more questions about advocacy on a Hill. Advocacy, I mean Ukrainian at all,
yes.
Like as a country, and
yes.
Was all this stuff. So, how to talk to Republicans, and how to, you are as a former Republican, maybe you have any advices how to do that?
The way to talk to them is to talk about the criminal activities of Vladimir Putin. To say, we understand that Trump is trying to make a deal. This is the way he thinks. This is his history. But here's the negotiating partner. He can't be trusted. He's got blood all over him. He's a criminal. He's murdering people to come to power, and murdering people to stay in power, and now trying to murder an entire nation. And to bring out also the idea of Ukrainians as a separate people, as a separate culture, having a different history, having been constrained by Russia over centuries, but never being Russian. And the whole idea also of the NATO encroachment being the cause of Putin's invasion is false.
And do you think this point will help in advocacy?
I think absolutely. I think just telling the truth. The truth is very hard to oppose, especially when you're in a quiet room and there's no press there and nobody is judging you. It's so important that this advocacy goes forward, and that the American Coalition for Ukraine has more summits and comes to Washington more.
And also, when we are talking about meetings on the Hill, and you are as a former Republican, you can maybe have some message to the people who did it, and you want to share it to them?
Well, I think they're doing the Lord's work. They're doing the work of a free Ukraine. Their cause is righteous. The truth is beautiful, and at some point the truth will out.
You were in a Congress from Pennsylvania.
Yes.
From the swing state.
Yes.
So, what's your maybe advice how to win the swing states, and how to do that?
Well, I think you just have to do it one congressperson at a time, one senator at a time, and bring the truth to them, and then the chips will fall where they will fall. But the truth is important, and the current administration is operating somewhat outside of the truth, although Mr. Trump feels he can make a deal, he can save Ukraine. If it doesn't happen in the near future, I think you will see the administration shifting gears and supporting Ukraine in a far greater way.
And also, here in DC, there is a big Russian lobby. Yeah.
Yes.
How to?
We want to work with those Russians who support Ukraine. We want to work with them in the sense of what does a Russia look like without Putin? And there are many, many Russians who are formerly in high positions who hate Putin and who want to get rid of him and who understand what a murderer and killer and war criminal he is. And we need to mobilize them. They have not been mobilized yet. And I think the Remembrance Society can help there. Now, let me just end by saying how much I admire the Ukrainian people for their history, for their culture, for their orientation towards peace, and their bravery and resilience and courage to try to make peace.
Thank you everyone for watching. Uliana Бойчук for Ukraine breaking news from DC.